Check, check. Haribo, Haribo. Check, check. Okay.
Clear.
Okay, thank you. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Radha Damodara Radha, Damodara Shri Radhe. Jai Radha Damodara Radha, Damodara Shri Radhe. Jai Shri Shri Radha Damodar Ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Okay, welcome devotees. Today we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam 5:19-28. That's Canto 5, Chapter 19, verse 28. Yadatra nasvaga sukha vas. Okay. Yadatra nasvaga sukha. Yadyatra nasvaga sukha vasesitam. Svistasya suktasya kritasya sobanam. Tena janabe smiti majanmanasyar. Varshe hariryad bhajatam samtanoti. Yadhyatra nasvaga sukha vasesitam. Svistasya suktasya kritasya sobanam. Tena janabe smiti majanmanasyar. Varshe hari yad bhajatam sam tanoti. Yad yatra nasvarga sukha vasesitam. Svitasya suktasya kritasya sobanam tena janabe smiti Majanmanasyar Vashariyar Bhajatam Samtanuti. Synonyms: Yadi, if, Atra, in the heavenly planet, Na, of this, Svarga Sukha Avesitam, whatever remains after the enjoyment of heavenly happiness. Su Istasya, of the perfect sacrifice. Su Uktasya, of diligently studying the Vedic literature. Kritasya, of having performed a kind action. Sobhanam, the resultant actions. Tena, by such a resultant action. Ajanabe, in the land of Bharatavarsha. Smriti Mat Janma, a birth enabling one to remember the lotus feet of the Lord. Na, of us. Syat, let there be. Varsha, in the land. Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yat, wherein. Bhajatam, of the devotees. Sam Tanoti, expands the auspiciousness. Translation: we are now living in the heavenly planets, undoubtedly as a result of our having performed ritualistic ceremonies, pious activities, and yagyas, and having studied the Vedas. However, our lives here will one day be finished. We pray that at that time, oh man, I forgot the invocation prayer. Sorry. Okay, I'll just chant it now. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, sorry for that abrupt interruption. I'll do the translation again. We are now living in the heavenly planets. Undoubtedly, as a result of our having performed ritualistic ceremonies, pious activities, and yagyas, and having studied the Vedas. However, our lives here will one day be finished. We pray that at that time, if any merit remains from our pious activities, we may take birth in Bharata Varsha as human beings, able to remember the lotus feet of the Lord. The Lord is so kind that he personally comes to the land of Bharata Varsha and expands the good fortune of its people. Jai. Purport. It is certainly as a result of pious activities that one takes birth in the heavenly planets. But from those planets, one must nevertheless come down again to earth, as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Shine Punya Martilokam Vishanti. Even the demigods must return to earth to work like ordinary men when the result of their pious activities expire. Nonetheless, the demigods desire to come to the land of Bharatavarsha, even if even a small portion of the merits of their pious activities remains. In other words, to take birth in Bharatavarsha, one must perform more pious activities than the demigods. Let me read that again. In other words, to take birth in Bharatavarsha, one must perform more pious activities than the demigods. In Bharatavarsha, one is naturally Krishna conscious. And if one further cultivates his Krishna consciousness by the grace of Krishna, he certainly expands his good fortune by becoming perfect in Krishna consciousness and very easily going back home, back to Godhead. In many other places in the Vedic literature, it is found that even the demigods want to come to this land of Bharatavarsha. A foolish person may desire to be promoted to the heavenly planets as a result of his pious activities. But even the demigods from the heavenly planets want to come to Bharatavarsha and achieve bodies that may be very easily used to cultivate Krishna consciousness. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu repeatedly says, Bharata Bhumite Haila Manu Se Janmayar Janma Sartaka Kara Para Upakar. A human being in the land of Bharatavarsha has the special prerogative to develop Krishna consciousness. Therefore, those already born in Bharatavarsha should take lessons from the Shastras and Guru and should fully take advantage of the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in order to be fully equipped with Krishna consciousness. By taking full advantage of Krishna consciousness, one goes back home, back to Godhead. Yanti Maya Jinopima. Krishna consciousness movement is therefore spreading this facility to human society by opening many centers all over the world so that people may associate with the pure devotees of the Krishna consciousness movement, understand the science of Krishna consciousness, and ultimately go back home, back to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Jnanati Mirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshuranmilita Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapita Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Sha Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, again, devotees, welcome. This morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. Very nice to be with you all on this auspicious day of Ekadasi. Krishna's favorite day, and the day to take more shelter of hearing and chanting. So this is actually quite a famous verse, often quoted, and it's because its implications are quite impactful. So the verse is saying that, yes, one who, even the demigods who have attained such a sought-after position, even those demigods actually desire to take birth in Bharatavarsha. Because by doing so, then they can remember the lotus feet of the Lord. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam 7th canto, there's a verse, Yadrikchaya lokam imam prapita karmabir brahman, svarga pavar gayor dvaram, tirishchitam punar asyacha. So this verse is saying that in the course of the evolutionary process, which is caused by fruitive activities, due to undesirable material sense gratification, I have received this human form of life, which can lead to the heavenly planets, to liberation, to the lower species, or to rebirth among human beings. So this verse is saying how, yes, this verse is confirming how the human form of life is actually the platform, the springboard, if you will, by which one can go up, down, or I guess one can remain on the springboard. So I'd like to talk a little in this in this class about some of the different destinations, because ultimately, if we see this life as a springboard, well, then we should know exactly where we want to go with on that springboard. Like if someone's in a subway station, then generally, yes, they should know, okay, I want to go here, I want to go there, like that. So on this springboard of this human form of life, yes, we should know what the different destinations are and be able to do a comparative analysis of these different situations. And yes, and then I'd like to tie it back to the message that's kind of also being stressed in the purport. Okay. So in the Nectar of Devotion, it's stated how the bliss attained from Brahman realization is so many thousands of times greater than the bliss attained from, or than the so-called happiness attained by the fruit of workers, or by material happiness. So yes, so material happiness, and I'm not even talking about necessarily what's often referred to as fruit of work in the Bhagavatam, but just what's sometimes referred to as vikarma, or gross materialistic activity. So Lord Rishabhadev says, Nayam deha bhajam niloke kastan kamam arhate vidbhujam tapodevim puttaka yena sarvam sudyeryas brahma sakam tanantam. So Lord Rishabhadev's telling us a little about this vikarma pleasure, or the pleasure that most everyone that we see nowadays, the pleasure that they're actually going after. So Lord Rishabdev is telling his sons that, my dear boys, of all living entities who have accepted material bodies in this world, one who has been awarded the human form should not work hard day and night simply for sense gratification, which is available even for dogs and hogs that eat stool. So yes, the happiness in this material world is just like that. It's the same as the happiness derived from the um, the stool eating hogs and dogs. They both actually eat stool. So it's a very, I remember my guru, his Holiness Dave Mritamraj, my Guru Maharaj, he was saying how the first pamphlet that he got was this Teachings of Prahlad Maharaj. So he gets this pamphlet on the in the streets of New York, goes up to his flat, and one of the first things that he read was actually, yeah, Teachings of Prahlad Maharaj. And there Prahlad Maharaj is making the point that actually there's nothing glorious about the pleasure that one gets as a human opposed to the pleasure that one gets as an animal. Um, it's actually the same pleasure. So as Rishabhdev's saying here, that this same sense gratification is available even for hogs and dogs that eat stool. So for the for the human who goes to the taco truck and buys whatever, sits down to eat it, that same pleasure he's deriving is non-different from the pleasure if you, or actually I was driving here through our back roads here in central Pennsylvania, drove past one place. When I first drove past, I had no clue what it was, because it just looked like a very very messy kind of piece of land. It was just bare dirt pretty much, mud. So I was kind of like, what? I'm not sure what that's all about. Then on the way back, I saw, okay, there's pigs on it. And so apparently these pigs, if you have pigs, then you just put them on some kind of like super muddy, gross land. Yeah, not like lush green land. Um, and of course, if you've been to India, then literally, yeah, then you really see it because you see the hogs, you actually see them like eating from the open sewers. So, anyways, yeah, so that same there's no difference actually. The sense gratification between the taco truck and the open sewers for the respective animals. Um, so when His Holiness Dave Mrita Maharaj read this, he recounts that he actually just fell back on his couch and was just um yeah, was just baffled by this, was just struck by this. Um it was a real point of awakening that, oh my God, yeah, here I think I'm, you know, here I think that the human form of life, it's something actually so special. I mean, the pleasure pursuit of sense gratification and that sense gratification one can get in the human form of life is so special, but actually it's actually being attained by the animals also. So there's yeah, so this is the pursuit of yeah, sense gratification in what we'd call the karma, um is, you know, gross materialistic pursuits. Um and yeah, also another verse. Nunam pramate kurute vikarma yet India priti aprinoti. Nasadu manye yata atmano yam asana pikleshada asadeha. So materialists who work hard like dogs and hogs simply for sense gratification are actually mad. They simply perform all kinds of abominable activities for sense gratification. Yeah, so I was remember this when I was actually learning this verse as a traveling Sankirtan devotee. We were at a music festival and distributing books, and you know, it was after our day of Sankirtan, and I was whatever, brushing my teeth and trying to commit this verse to memory. And as I was reading this verse, I could see yeah, these people at this music festival walking walking past me, um and it was cold. And if anyone's been to a music festival, yeah, it's quite a scene. I mean, people just come and they literally, yeah, they camp out for like, you know, 3 or 4 days. Um, it's just a big field. Everyone kind of camps out. You know, your only way of going to the bathroom is these porta potties, which are not very well maintained. There's no showers unless you pay a high price. So many people just like either don't shower or bring like baby wipes. And it's just full, it's just uh very yeah, very animalistic. People become very animalistic for those days, even more animalistic. So I remember learning this verse, and as I'm memorizing this verse, talking about how these materialists are actually mad, I see, yeah, these, you know, festival goers, it's almost freezing outside, and they're walking, you know, with very limited clothing, down these streets and just, yeah, intoxicated and living in these tents and just, eating like out of cans or paying very high prices for like a decent hot meal. And I was just, yeah, this is actually complete madness. No one would actually do this if they were in their right mind. If there wasn't, if the illusion of Maya wasn't driving them forward like this. Yeah. So, okay. So that's the first stage, is that's the kind of lowest level, is this vikarma. Um, then next we have, and if you like to go for that, then you can feel free to exit the class now if you'd like to, if you're satisfied with that. Okay, next is the pursuit of fruitive activities, or getting to the heavenly planets, as we're seeing in this verse. Um, so this is obviously, this is a very hard platform to obtain, especially in this Kali Yuga. It's very intricate. This, pursuit of being a fruitive worker and trying to get to the heavenly planets. Um, Very complicated, very intricate system. Um, Takes a lot of resources and knowledge. And yes, we see that even like there's this pastime with King Nriga. So Nriga was a very, yeah, pious king, and gave lots of charity. And then what happened? He gave uh was given cows in charity to brahmanas, and then one of those cows went into the, like wandered off into another land of another brahmana. And so anyways, then there was this complication that, oh, because, yeah, so pretty much he gave this cow twice. um he like double donated this cow like that. So anyways, and then he, of course, he was cursed, and uh had to take birth as a lizard in a well. So like this, so this pastime is very nice because we see from it that how intricate this pursuit for fruitive activities is, this pursuit for the heavenly planets is. And I think, as Nagaraj Nitai Prabhu was saying the other day, that, yeah, we're like, you're kind of bound to mess up, right? And even if one does obtain it, even if one, yeah, gets it and, goes to the heavenly planets. Or here's another example that it stated that if one, to obtain the post of Lord Brahma, one has to perform his varnashram duties perfectly for 100 lifetimes. So who can do such a thing? Um, and even we see, yeah, if your personality, like Lord Indra, gets to that post, but there's uh, so much anxiety while he's there, right? He was he was nervous. Prithi Maharaj was gonna do more horse sacrifices than him, so he devised this plan to sabotage Prithi Maharaj's performance of these yagyas, because he was scared that, yeah, my post might be taken. So you can see, even, yeah, even when one does attain these heavenly planets, there's doesn't mean the heart is pure. Uh, there's still lots of anxieties. And as we see in this verse is that, yeah, still one who actually wants to come down to Bharata Varsha. So it's said that in the heavenly planets, the enjoyment is so nice that one can easily forget one's purpose of life. And in the hellish planets, it's so miserable that one isn't able to also remember one's goal of life to attain loving service to the Lord. The verse in the Bhagavatam, first canto, Heto tasyaiva heto prayatete kovido nalabhyate ya pramatam udardi talabhyate dukavad anya sukam kalena sarvata gabira ram hasam. So this verse is saying that persons who are actually intelligent and philosophically inclined should endeavor only for that purposeful end which is not attainable by wandering from the topmost planet down to the lowest planet. As far as happiness from sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be obtained automatically in course of time, just as in the course of time we obtain miseries even though we do not desire them. So yes, those who are actually intelligent, they don't endeavor for that happiness that's obtainable by going up or going up to the heavenly planets or down. Um, yeah. Be- And then, yeah, such a nice last sentence saying that as far as sense enjoyment is concerned, it's attained in the course of time, just as one obtains miseries, even though we do not desire them. Very interesting. Yeah. So, yeah, so that's the desire for fruitive activities. And um, so that's the thing is, even if we were so fortunate to get to these heavenly planets, still one has to ultimately come down. Um, it's still only temporary, just like one might whatever go to a vacation. Still, you know that vacation's not going to last. So everyone's actually seeking the eternal vacation. I remember we used to go to these music festivals and they had these shirts, my life versus your vacation. In other words, saying that my life is so great, whatever, I'm a rock star, whatever, like a whatever, merch person. My life is so great that it's actually better than your vacation. So this is what we everyone wants this is actually to have this eternal vacation, attain this eternal happiness. So even yeah, that's why this verse is saying that if you're actually intelligent, if you're actually philosophical, then you'll understand that just having a nice temporary life, which and then yeah, having a nice temporary life and then running the risk of having to do all this again, take a human form of life, take animal form of life, all this. What's the use of it? It's like a merry-go-round, goes up and then goes down, goes up and then goes down. So it just doesn't make sense to strive for this goal so much and yeah, to strive so much for this. Better is to make a solution to the whole problem. So the jnana, the jnana realization, one if one has desire for that, um, studying, especially the Vedanta Sutra and 1990, philosophically negating this and that, um, in controlling the senses and also performing different welfare activities like this. So the Bhagavad Gita says this is also actually very hard to obtain. This impersonal perfection and impersonal realization. And there's a nice pastime in the CC where this pastime displays how, yeah, even this position was superseded by bhakti. So when Lord Chaitanya was in Varanasi and he was invited to meet with the other Mayavad sannyasis, and yeah, Lord Chaitanya goes and first he sits at the where all the shoes are kept, where yeah, the shoes are kept, where people wash their feet. No, he just takes a very low position. He's just sitting there, at the entrance where people come to wash their feet. And so then the Mayavadis, they say, please come, we can actually see you're actually very effulgent. Like we're all trying to attain Brahman realization, and it looks like you've already attained, you've already fully realized your Narayan aspect. Of course, he's Lord Chaitanya, so that was truth to that. But they say yes, we know. Okay, we know you're highly advanced, but I don't know. For some reason, you just engage in this chanting and dancing on the street. You're not so into studying Vedanta like we are. But anyways, please, don't degrade yourself to such a position, just sitting there on the floor where people wash their feet. So he comes and yes, and then he Lord Chaitanya actually starts to preach to them. And this assembly, headed by Prakashananda Saraswati, they actually all become devotees. They become devotees of the Lord. So we can see this, even so many Mayavadis, they were actually took to the higher platform of devotional service. So yes, even if one does attain that position, uh, as it's said in Nectar Devotion, that okay, the happiness, as I was stating earlier, that the happiness from Brahman realizations so many thousands of times better than happiness from sense gratification. Well, the happiness from devotional service is like an ocean, and the compared to the happiness of Brahman realization, which is only like the water contained in a calf's footprint. So it's quite inconceivable, and that's why we see statements in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that just one drop of this nectar can actually flood the whole world with love of Godhead. And then, yeah, also one comes down also because for the soul is active, and this unnatural state of being merged in the Brahman is also, yeah, it's unnatural. So that's why it said that generally they come down to perform welfare activities, um, or being frustrated just reading dry philosophy all day. Then they have a desire. Yes, I want to read some some rasa about personality. So they take to the reading of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Um, So we can see that, yes, bhakti really is uh, really supersedes all these other destinations that one can attain. Um, yes, tasyaiva heto praititiko vida. So one who's actually intelligent, one who is actually philosophical. So we should, yes, ask ourselves, yeah, how much do I want to be intelligent and philosophical? I like this verse in the CC that says, okay, if you have an inclination for uh, philosophy or intellect, then use that propensity to try to calculate the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, like this. So back to the verse. So it's very interesting. So the verse says Bharata Varsha. So it's saying that the demigods want to take birth in Bharata Varsha, because there they can remember the lotus feet of the Lord. So it's very interesting. The one Maharaj, His Holiness Dhanavir Goswami Maharaj, very scholarly devotee, written many books, and he actually said that uh, Bharata Varsha can actually refer to not just India, but actually the planet Earth. So all of planet Earth can actually be considered Bharata Varsha. And actually, if one reads through this verse and purport with that definition, it actually makes sense. Um, so yeah, these demigods, they like to take birth in Bharatavarsha, India, or yeah, like I said, you can also interchange that with the whole earthly planet, because as it said now that Prabhupada said that now so many centers are being made all around the world in order to give people this ability to take full advantage of the human form of life and the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, um, yeah, this is this is the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, that even though we have such a short form of life, even though this is the most degraded age, somehow or other we've been given the great fortune to be able to go back to Godhead just in this short, just yeah, even with all these things in consideration, it is truly a great blessing. And if one calculates the fortune that we have and taken birth so close to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, um, 500 years ago, that's nothing. That's really, I mean, that's so little time ago. Somehow or other, we took birth. It's so close after him. Um, so if one calculates, yeah, the how often Krishna comes, um, Krishna comes once in a day of Lord Brahma. So many years. What is it for? 4 billion years. So within that, we came 5,000 years within the birth of Krishna, and then 500 years within the birth of Lord Chaitanya, and then you know, s- some of us came in direct contact with Srila Prabhupada, who came to really like propel this Sankirtan movement into the future. So it's a very, great benediction that we have. And as this, like, I just can't have to keep going back to this verse. If one who is intelligent and philosophical and kind should endeavor for that purposeful aim, which is not obtained even by going to the heavenly planets or down to the hellish planets. And one more verse I'd like to say this. Kaler dosha nide rajan asti heko mahaguna kirtanareva Krishna se mukta sangha parambrajit. That although this age of Kali is ocean of faults, there's one good thing in it, and that's by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one can attain perfection. One can be, liberated from this material world and attain perfection. Okay, so I'll stop there. Anyone has any questions or comments? Thanks for tolerating. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, if anyone has any questions or comments, realizations on this, please feel free to speak up.
Haribol Dasha Prabhu, thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prajalila.
Yeah, thank you so much. So many wonderful verses that you quoted to to just illuminate this wonderful verse, as you said. So, so much of Srila Prabhupada mentioned so much about crossing over this illusion of the material world in terms of all the things that you shared, all the different layers that are there to cross over. And I was just wondering, he says that one of the most important aspects to cross over all of this is to have, to not associate with non-devotees, and also to really hold on to the mercy of the pure devotee of the Lord. And I was just a little curious in terms of the practical aspect of doing that. You mentioned the holy names, and are there other ways that we can not have the association of non-devotees and also have the association of a pure devotee in our lives?
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, bringing this up. That I heard my Guru Maharaj recently quoting this verse. I think it's it's Narada Muni saying that sorry, or maybe Prahlad Maharaj. Yeah, I think Prahlad Maharaj saying that his spiritual master Narada Muni had saved him from following the ordinary course of the general population. And because of that, Prahlad Maharaj said, how can I give up his service? So I think that verse actually addresses those 2 points you brought up. One, that about the association with non-devotees, that yes, they are following, they have their own kind of desires. The general population is following a certain tract, which is leading them to a certain destination, which is actually pretty bad destination. I mean, it's not progressive. It's actually, if you read it's practically they're going to the hellish planets. And yeah, and it's very easy to get caught up in that, and it's um, very easy to get influenced by that because it's all around. That's what, yeah, unless one kind of keeps a tight gate around one's life and one's consciousness, then that's where the general population is going. And the more we associate with that consciousness, then the more we're affected by it. And then the next part of that verse is nice. That yeah. So how my spiritual master has saved me from that. So how can I give up his? How can I give up service to him? Um, Prabhupada said, that when Prabhupada said the statement that I can kick out all Maya in one kick. I can kick out all Maya, all illusion. So I take that as being like, yes, by holding on to the lotus feet of the spiritual master, by taking his words as our life and soul, then all illusion can be kicked out. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for asking that. If you have any comments, there's anything you were thinking in that regard, your realizations on that would be very beneficial, I think.
No, I appreciate so much hearing from you this morning. It's very, very nourishing. And only, yeah, that point about the spiritual master is so key and so dear because, yeah, we wouldn't be able to understand any of these things that you're talking about if it wasn't for the mercy of our spiritual master. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Raju. I appreciate you bringing that up.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Tarka Prabhu.
Yeah, I want to thank you for a very nice class. Lots of wonderful Shastric references, great points. I really enjoyed that class. Gave me lots to think about. Hey, with regards to the association of non-devotees, um, generally for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, in order to avoid the association of the non-devotees and keep the association of the pure devotees, the process generally recommended is that when you are in the presence of non-devotees, you avoid taking their association by giving them your association, by always giving Krishna consciousness somehow or other, and in whatever way you can effectively do that, you are insulated from the effect of their bad association, and instead you are infused with the uplifting effect of the message of Krishna consciousness that you're trying to impart. And it's a win-win. Everybody benefits. They benefit, and you benefit by repeating the message. So the challenge, the art, is to find the ways and means to be able to give your good association to the non-devotees in a way that will be acceptable to them, that they will not reject out of hand somehow or other. In the course of what may appear to be light conversation, you somehow find a way to interject some aspect of the message of Krishna consciousness. So it's challenging, but with practice, devotees become very expert at always keeping themselves absorbed in Krishna consciousness, even in the company of non-devotees by somehow or other sharing some aspect of Krishna consciousness with those non-devotees. So that's all I got. Thanks again, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, if there's nothing else. Going once, going twice. Okay, thank you all very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gita Gaur Pramanande Hari Hari Bo.